Alright, what's going on, everyone? Of course, this is In the Hot Seat, and with this week's episode, I will be celebrating, that's right, the 25 years of the Royal Rumble with my guests, and we will be talking about a couple of things, and I know we had a little bit problems with the audio, but hopefully you guys will enjoy the audio commentary that we will be talking about with the Royal Rumble, and as well with a couple of other topics, and as well, hopefully you guys will enjoy the show, and be sure to comment on what we talked about. Feel free to leave a like and all that good stuff right down below in the comments, and as well with the like button and everything like that. And feel free to leave a video response or all three, which is fine by me. But until then, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. With that being said, you know what's coming up next. Roll that intro.
You are watching the most interactive professional wrestling discussion show on the internet. WWE Impact Wrestling,
ROH Wrestling,
pro wrestling at its finest on In the Hot Seat with your host, Fortminorproject.
Alright, what's on, guys, and welcome to this week's very special episode from the Hot Seat. Of course, we will be talking about the Royal Rumble, and I do have my guest joining me at this time, in which you guys like to introduce yourself.
Hello.
Hi there, it's Possible 956.
Hi, it's Rasman's Reality and Rotisserie Jamie, you forgot to say her name.
Jamie Calloway, hello.
Hello.
Alright, I'm going to kick things off here, and with the topic that I will be going into the Hall of Fame, and what are you guys' thoughts on Macho Man? Do you think he should be inducted into this year's Hall of Fame? And I'm going to kick things off with Raz.
I absolutely do think Macho needs to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, everything he's done is self-explanatory, and the fact that he's not is totally vengeful on Vince McMahon's part. I mean, the guy's passed now. He still didn't get announced for the Hall of Fame this year, and I don't get it. I don't know what the story is. There's all kinds of rumors going around about what the actual heat is between Vince McMahon and Randy Savage. I don't want to believe the most common rumor, which is that Macho Man actually made a move on Stephanie or did something to Stephanie when Stephanie was underage. Like, I don't want to believe that. But whatever it is, there's always been like this major heat between Vince and Savage, and I think it's completely dumb that it's kept him from going in the Hall of Fame, because your wrestling career should supersede anything else, unless you're Chris Benoit. Like, I don't want to get started on a whole other subject unless you want me to. But Chris Benoit is an entirely different animal. But as far as Randy Savage goes, I'm in complete agreement that Randy needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Jamie, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think he should go in. I mean, you should keep your personal life and your wrestling life separate. Your personal life shouldn't interfere with your wrestling life, so Vince needs to get over it. He deserves to go into the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of people that aren't in the Hall of Fame yet, so he needs to just get his head out of his butt and, let him go into the Hall of Fame.
Impossible, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think he should definitely go in, but my only problem is I don't want him to go in the Hall of Fame just because he died. I want him maybe next year or in 2 years, but I don't really want him this year because everybody would think he got into the Hall of Fame just because he died.
Yeah, well, that's a very good point. I didn't think of it that way. That is a very good point as to why maybe he wasn't announced this year. That's a very good point.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up with my thoughts, but yeah, definitely he does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame either way, so hopefully we will get to see that, and things going into the Hall of Fame so far has been really looking good so far, so we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen next. Going into the next topic that I have here, and with that being said, we did get to see recent title change hands at a house show, which is very rare that we get to see with the tag team championships. And in your opinion, do you think we will see more title changes change hands besides the tag team championships? And as well, what are your thoughts on the new tag team champions? I'm going to kick things off with Raz. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, when you say are we going to see more titles changing hands, are you talking about overall or just on house shows?
Yeah, overall on house shows.
Overall, I think that all the titles right now are going to stay where they are. I mean, once they resolve the U.S. title situation, I think they're going to stay where they're at until Mania. I don't think we're going to see any title changes to Mania. I would have said the World Heavyweight Championship a couple weeks ago, but with this heel turn for Daniel Bryan and the way they've made it slow and the way that he's playing like a underhanded heel, he's gotten really, really brilliant, and WWE has shown the most investment in him that they've ever shown, so I don't even think he's going to drop the title before Mania, so that's my opinion on that. As far as the current tag team champions and how it happened, I don't like how it happened because I just don't like it for Evan Bourne. I think that Evan Bourne's on his way to getting future endeavor because there's so much backstage heat on him. And really a lot of it's not warranted. Really a lot of it, in my opinion, is Triple H blowing everything out of proportion because a lot of guys have to have medical marijuana for whatever reason. If that was actually the reason he's been suspended. Now, the reason I say that is because that was the original report with the first suspension, but then with the second suspension, Evan Bourne sent out a tweet that said, quote unquote, sorry y'all, sometimes we'll all become our own worst enemy. And to me, that makes it seem like Evan Bourne knows he's doing something wrong and got caught. So maybe Evan does have a real serious problem and it needs to be addressed, but yeah, that was my major problem with Epico and Primo winning the titles is it halted the push for Air Boom because Air Boom was the only thing relevant that Evan has done in WWE. But as far as Epico and Primo, they have pretty good chemistry together and I don't mind them as champions. They're doing what they're doing.
It actually kind of makes sense, the tag team.
Yeah, and which is a rare thing nowadays in WWE for a tag team to make sense. The only problem is, beyond the Usos, who is there for them to feud against? You're gonna run into the same problem you've been running into for months in WWE. You're gonna have to throw tag teams together because there is no tag team division, which is why what happened with Chris Hero is such a letdown because I was really hoping that Claudio Castagnoli and Chris Hero could debut in WWE together as Kings of Wrestling. That would have been an amazing thing to have happen.
Yeah. Jamie, care to add anything to that?
I also agree with Raz. Like, I didn't like how now he's probably going to get D-push, and it's totally going to ruin his career, but I don't mind different people having the tag titles. It's just that there's no one to feud with, so you kind of, just like Raz said, you have to throw random people together. And I really hope Evan Bourne gets help because it's such a shame. Evan Bourne is such a good talent, and they treat him like crap. And that was a really good tag team that was going on. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, they're actually letting them hold the titles for a while. And now that, Evan Bourne has been suspended twice, it's such a shame because he's so good.
Right. Impossible, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I personally like Epico and Primo, but about the title change, it changes because Evan Bourne couldn't compete. And it is just a shame that he's just wasting his talent in WWE. I think he's gonna get suspended one more time, and then if he's gonna get released. But that's pretty sad because again, he has great talent. And about Epico and Primo, I actually really enjoy them, and I think they're a pretty good tag team. And I think they made some good things with Primo because he was a jobber about 2 months ago, and they done something pretty good with him.
Yeah.
I thought he got released. Sorry.
Yeah, that's alright. To me, I think with the title change, I don't have any problems with it. It shows that anything can happen at the house shows, so it's not like it happens all the time, so I was fine with it. I'm liking what they do with Epico and Primo, and as far with Evan Bourne, hopefully things would turn around and this would be his last suspension since he just came back like a month ago, so it is unfortunate that had to happen like that. So hopefully things will turn around and we'll see better things come out of Evan Bourne. So that's it when it comes to my thoughts on that. Now we're going
to add real quick, David, that I agree with what you said about relevance to house shows. Like, that is the one good thing I forgot to mention about the title changes. I would like the house shows to actually mean something again. So maybe that's a sign that will happen.
House shows nowadays, it's just like Normally they
Mm-hmm.
don't change, titles don't change hands. So
It's
say
very
it
rare.
was like Kane versus, I don't know, whoever would be the champion at the time. Obviously the person with the title wasn't going to lose it. So
Yeah.
it would just, like you going, it would just be obvious who was going to win. It wouldn't be like, oh my goodness, who's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also shows it
You
can be a bit unpredictable at times, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's one when it says, you predict, that they're not going to change hands.
Yeah. Alright, so we move along into the main part of the show, and that is about the Royal Rumble. And what are you guys' top picks to win this year's Royal Rumble, if you have any? And I'm going to kick things back over to Raz.
Well, for me, there's a couple different ways to look at it. It's who should get it and who probably is going to get it. So as far as
Okay.
who should get it, to me, it's either going to be Wade Barrett, Dolph Ziggler if he gets thrown into the Royal Rumble match and doesn't win the WWE title in his match for the title, or Sheamus. Those are the three guys that they build up the most, that are ready to move forward into the main event scene and need to be in the main event scene for something to happen with them. So those are the three guys who should win the Royal Rumble. But knowing WWE and their tendency and how they tend to do the Royal Rumble, the two guys that I think are most likely to win the match are Chris Jericho, because they have to eventually end the Jared trolling thing, which I know has nothing to do with the show, but I just want to reiterate the fact for nobody that watches my videos or listens to my radio show. I think the Jared trolling thing is absolutely brilliant, and it's something we've never seen in WWE, and I love it to death. And it's not just because I'm the biggest Jericho fan in the world either. I love it because it's something new, unique, and fresh. But eventually it's going to have to end.
It's going to get old.
Yeah. And when it does end, Chris Jericho's going to have to come forward with his true intentions, which we all know is going to be CM Punk and possibly Daniel Bryan, like I said in a recent video. And then, as I'll say in my next video, which I'm not sure if this video and that video will go up simultaneously or one right after another, but for those that don't know, Daniel Bryan did a post SmackDown interview where Daniel Bryan actually acknowledged Chris Jericho and CM Punk calling themselves the best in the world, and he said people have been calling me the best in the world since 2005. So I think there's a possibility that might happen, but either way, whether it's CM Punk one-on-one or Daniel Bryan thrown into the match, that's where it's all going to lead. So Chris Jericho could win the Royal Rumble because they don't know what they want to do with the World Heavyweight Championship, and having their number one contender to the WWE title just automatically win the Rumble would be the easy way out. And then the other big possibility, and I know everyone hates this, no one wants to acknowledge this, everyone just wants to throw up when they hear it, but Randy Orton. Because I know, but it's because it's the simple fact that Royal Rumble is in his hometown. And now, at first I thought he was going to be like a surprise entrant kind of thing, like they've done with Edge and John Cena in the past when they were injured. But they announced that Orton is ready to come off the disabled list, for lack of a better way to put it. They don't actually call it that in WWE, but that's what's called in other sports. They announced that Orton's ready to come off the injured list on SmackDown this Friday. So everybody knows Orton's going to come back. Orton's going to be in the Royal Rumble match. And the thing about it is, that makes him such a plausible winner, is that it's his hometown in St. Louis this year. So those are my two logical picks, are Chris Jericho and Randy Orton.
Alright, Jamie, what are your picks?
I think Jericho, Wade Barrett, or Randy Orton. I mean, I absolutely do not want Randy Orton to win. He doesn't need to win. He's already won the Rumble a million other times, and as much as I love him as a heel, but as much as I'm a fan of him, he's actually quite boring, and I don't want him to win the Rumble. And I wouldn't mind Wade or Jericho, because I absolutely adore them.
Alright, Impossible, what are your picks for this year?
Yeah, who should win, if Dolph Ziggler loses the match with Punk, which I think it will happen. Punk will go into WrestleMania as WWE champion. He can go into Rumble and win it. But the one that I think and everybody may think of it is Chris Jericho, of course, because he done all that stuff, and he may go into WrestleMania as a heel and go against CM Punk. And Wade Barrett has got a really big push, and I think he deserves it as well. Sheamus, as Raz said, but I don't think Sheamus will get this big win. That's pretty much it. And Randy Orton, well, he may come out in there, but he was announced on SmackDown that he's ready to compete next week. But that may be a plan for WWE to do like a surprise thing. So yeah.
And Ziggler, I wouldn't mind Ziggler winning either, because I absolutely love Ziggler too. He's a great talent.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, I actually have a few of the guys and some that you have mentioned. One of them that I do have on the list here, and that is Cody Rhodes. Now, he has been doing really great, and I've been liking what he's doing, so he's so far looking to be a double champion. As far as to say, is he going to actually do it, I don't really think so as of right now, but, anything can really happen with that. I do have Sheamus on this list. He hasn't really been doing a whole lot throughout this year, well, last year I should say, so he's definitely on there. Kane, since he came back, he's been having a feud with John Cena, so, and he's never really won a Royal Rumble, so, anything can happen with that. Also, Wade Barrett, been definitely liking what they have been doing with him and the whole Barrett barrage, so, Wade Barrett is definitely on my list, and as well, Christian, depending on when, his injury status is concerned, hopefully, we'll have Christian come back and return at the Royal Rumble, since not many people
I have a question for you guys after you finish, sorry.
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
When do you think Undertaker's going to come back? Do you guys think he's going to come back at the Rumble? Because some of you know I'm the biggest Taker mark ever.
I was thinking that he may interfere in the Kane match, Kane John Cena match, and then because it's like a really big possibility that he will go against the Taker at Mania, so that would be like a good point to start a feud.
Well, the thing is, all the dirt sheets or whatever you want to call it, they're saying that it's going to be Taker versus Triple H again, which nobody wants to see. Nobody wants to see that. And Kane versus Taker again, at least that would be tolerable because of Kane's character change. But as far as
at least because it would be like, it's not like they faced last year at Mania, it's like last time they faced there was a time span in between it. But I don't want to see them face for a third time either. And sorry for interrupting you, David and Raz.
Well, that's all I was going to say in response to you, is that as far as him coming back at the Rumble, it could happen, but I don't see it happening because I think at this stage, with him only wrestling once a year now, I think coming back at the Royal Rumble is just a bit too early because he'll have nothing to do but cut promos for 2.5 months to build up a feud. And I just don't see that him needing that much time just simply because it's Undertaker and it's a streak. It only needs about 3 or 4 weeks for it to be a match that you care about because you should care about it automatically.
Well, he could just stay with me, but go ahead, David.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to really have Triple H against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I'm sure that match would be good, but as far as with The Undertaker returning at the Rumble, I think that would be cool. I can see both Triple H and The Undertaker in the Royal Rumble match and probably have an altercation there, and probably one of them will eliminate each other, or they'll probably both eliminate both of them. So we'll have to wait and see how that's going to go. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing The Undertaker return. Now going into the next topic here, and what are your favorite Royal Rumble pay-per-views or pay-per-view in itself? And I'm going to kick things back over to Raz. What are your thoughts?
Well, my favorite Royal Rumble of all time was Royal Rumble, what was it? Can't remember what year it was. 96, I think it was. That was the year that Shawn Michaels was number 1 and went all the way to the end and then ended up facing Bret Hart in the Iron Man match at 12. Because the Iron Man match at 12 is my second favorite wrestling match of all time. And the only reason I say second favorite is because Shawn Michaels went on to face Chris Jericho, and everybody knows how I feel about Chris Jericho and why I would put that match ahead of the Iron Man match. But as far as setup, and what culmination, that would be my favorite Royal Rumble. But as far as my favorite pay-per-view of the year, it's always going to be WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is on a whole nother level, and it should be on a whole nother level. But one of the pay-per-views that I've really begun to enjoy a lot as of late is Elimination Chamber, because the chamber matches themselves are just so unpredictable. Like, you never know who's going to walk out of the chamber as champion.
Yeah. Alright, Jeremy, what is your favorite Royal Rumble?
Do you want to know my favorite pay-per-view? Because Raz was talking about his favorite pay-per-view. Is that what we're asking? Okay.
If you want both, that's fine.
Alright. Favorite pay-per-view? Probably Mania and Survivor Series. Survivor Series because Taker debuted there. You know, such a mark. And WrestleMania, I think it just speaks for itself. Because, you know, it is WrestleMania. And what was the other thing? Favorite Rumble match? Is that what we're talking about?
Favorite Rumble of all time, yes.
Favorite Rumble of all
I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
Alright, Impossible, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my favorite pay-per-view will have to be Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. They're both like, WrestleMania is just, as Jamie said, it's just, speaks for itself. Royal Rumble is really unpredictable. You don't know who's coming back. You don't know who's winning it. For my favorite Royal Rumble of all time, it'll have to be as a whole pay-per-view 2001, and as just as a Royal Rumble match. I like 2007 one. The 2001 was really good. 1997 was good. 08 was good as well. So
see, he can't choose either.
Yeah. Well, you can have a Fave 5 or a Fave 10. Doesn't really matter.
Oh, poop.
But yeah, there are so many good Royal Rumbles out there, and to me, the one that I went to, which was Royal Rumble 2008, I thought that was a really good event, and I wasn't expecting John Cena to return there and win the actual Royal Rumble, so that definitely was a surprise there. And it was just really good all around, and just to see the matches and everything, to see it live in person, and being the first pay-per-view to go in HD, so that was a cool experience there as my first pay-per-view. And as far as my favorite pay-per-view, it's really a toss-up with the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Of course, Royal Rumble is definitely that unpredictable pay-per-view, so which makes it a favorite pay-per-view of all time, and one of them anyway, so that's basically it when it comes to that. And going into some of the final topics here, and that is going in with favorite Royal Rumble winners. It doesn't have to exactly be one, it could be many more, and I'm going to kick things over back to Raz.
I love Shawn Michaels every time he won it, because he was always one of the guys that would last the longest in the ring. But I think my favorite Royal Rumble winner of all time was Rey Mysterio, because it was so much emotion with Eddie's death. And whether or not you think that Rey Mysterio's push only came out of Eddie's death or not, just the fact that it was there, and the fact that he was number one, and that he pulled a Shawn Michaels, he has the record for the longest Royal Rumble participant of all time. Like, that moment will always stick out to me as far as Royal Rumble. It's not my favorite Royal Rumble match, but it's definitely my favorite Royal Rumble winner, because from the moment Rey Mysterio got in there, you were just so in his corner, and then when he actually won the match and then went on to pin Kurt Angle for the world title that year at WrestleMania, it was just such an awesome thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss Eddie.
I
love Eddie Guerrero. I don't know. Shawn Michaels. I don't know.
Do you have any other favorite Rumble winners?
I'll have to think.
Alright. Well, anyway, we'll continue on into Impossible, and what are your favorite Royal Rumble winners, or winner, if that?
Well, I definitely like Shawn Michaels, when he entered the first participant and won it and was the last man standing. But the one that really comes out of my mind is Stone Cold Steve Austin. He won it 3 times. He had a record for eliminating.
I love Stone Cold. Sorry.
Well, he had a record for eliminating 36 until Shawn Michaels broke it, and I don't know. He just had like the chemistry with the match.
Yeah.
Okay, can I say something? Probably
Yeah.
any of my favorite people winning is probably my favorite winners.
I'm surprised you didn't
Continue.
mention the Undertaker winning it.
Oh, of course. How could I forget about Taker? Oh, something's
Yeah,
wrong with
Taker.
me.
I
Yeah,
honestly forgot Taker won.
of course, the Undertaker is probably one of my favorite people ever winning the Rumble. I don't even think I have to answer that question.
So it's a good thing I mentioned that. But going into my favorite Royal Rumble winner, of course, to me, it's gonna have to go back into New York City with The Rock winning at Royal Rumble 2000, if I remember correctly. So I think he was supposed to win it, not the year before, but the one after that. But of course, Stone Cold was able to win it 2 times in a row. So it was definitely cool to see The Rock win his first Royal Rumble. So definitely one of my favorite Royal Rumble winners, to say the least. And getting into the last topic and going back into Royal Rumble matches, and what is your favorite Royal Rumble match or matches, and going back over to Raz, what are your thoughts?
Besides the Royal Rumble match itself, my favorite match at a Royal Rumble pay-per-view, I think would have to be, I'm pretty sure this happened at a Royal Rumble, or maybe it happened at a WrestleMania. I can't really remember, but the year that Bret Hart fought Owen Hart, was that at a Royal Rumble?
I believe it was. I'll have to check back on that one. But,
yeah,
go
but
ahead.
the year that Bret Hart fought Owen Hart, that was a very emotional match at the time, and no one expected Owen to actually win that match, and then when he beat Bret, that was a great moment for me. But as far as the Royal Rumble goes, maybe it's just me, but all the other matches on the card, none of them really stick out too much. I mean, it's always about waiting for the Rumble match itself. But that's just me.
Everyone normally looks forward to the Rumble match. No one really cares about the other matches.
Although that being said, I do want to mention the fact that I think they have a tremendous main event for this year with CM Punk versus Dolph Ziggler. That is going to be one heck of a wrestling clinic. And I think
they're both great wrestlers too.
Yeah. And Impossible, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if I have like a favorite match besides the actual Royal Rumble. I cannot really think of what now. Sorry.
Probably for me would be Undertaker, because you know me.
Yeah. To me, I do enjoy the Royal Rumble match in itself. It's always a great match, especially so. There has been actually some good matches that take place before the Rumble, and some that I have right now with Triple H and HBK. I decided to check that out, so that was definitely one to remember. Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero, of course, we also had that at the Rumble, and as well Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle, which is kind of forgotten right now. For the WWE Championship, we also had
the Benoit and Angle match. Yeah, that was an amazing match.
Yeah, that I believe was in Royal Rumble 2003. So, yeah, there has been a lot of great Royal Rumble matches. And going with this year, too, I think most of them looking to be good. So I am looking forward to them. So that's basically it when it comes to all the topics and everything. Is there anything else you guys would like to talk about before we...
I just wanted to really...
Undertaker come back.
Yeah, Undertaker come back, like Jamie said. But I just wanted to really quickly add, because I know your video is going to be extremely long now, and I hope people don't get irritated by it, but you mentioned Cody Rhodes as a dark horse pick for the Rumble this year. I would love for Cody Rhodes to win the Rumble. I just don't see him actually winning, because I think he's more of a guy that they're building to either be an Elimination Chamber winner or a Money in the Bank winner. I would be really surprised because he's currently Intercontinental Champion. I would be really surprised if he would win it this year, but I do think that he is ready for the main event scenes.
Yeah. I'll go ahead.
I just want to say, I think the Owen Hart Bret Hart, I think it was WrestleMania 10.
You're right, it was WrestleMania 10. Wow. So I guess to accurately answer the question, then I really don't have one, except for the one that you mentioned, which was Benoit and Angle. That was one of my favorite ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and going back into Cody Rhodes, whether or not he's going to win the Royal Rumble, I'm not really too sure, but that would be pretty cool if he did. But, I do like, what you said there before, and probably win at, Elimination Chamber or something like that. So he has been having a really great build-up going into his character and everything, so only time would tell. So I am going to be tuning in to see what they're going to do next with Cody Rhodes. But that's about it when it comes to the show. Is there any shout-outs you want to give with you guys before we end it?
Yeah, I just want to, because I know you're going to be on it and Rotisserie Jamie's going to be on it, I just want to remind everybody to check out their Ask Man's reality radio show this week on Friday, because it's going to be another WWE pay-per-view roundtable. We're going to be dissecting every match at the Royal Rumble, and then if time permits, we're also going to be talking about other things going on in the world of wrestling. So everybody check that out. And also, for the first time ever, we're going to attempt to show the recording for the radio show live as it happens on live stream. So stay tuned to my channel for that to see if that happens.
I'm plugging this video after it is done.
Alright. Impossible, do you have any shout-outs before we end the show?
No, I'm alright.
Alright, so I do appreciate you guys coming back in on the show, and with that being said, be sure to comment on what we talked about, be sure to leave a like, and as well a video response, or all three, it doesn't really matter. And then that about does it for this very special Royal Rumble episode for In the Hot Seat. And of course, as always, I will talk to you guys later on. Peace.